How's it going? My name is Henry, and in this video, I'm going to talk about how to grow your podcast. I'm going to do a quick little social proof. If you're new to the channel, I have a podcast. It's called the Positive Mindset Podcast. The reason I do these videos is podcasting has really changed the game for me. It's helped me out so much, and I just never found a lot of good content. I'm by no means an expert. I'm just sharing what's working for me and hopefully help you along with your journey. So let me go ahead and show you some social proof. All right, so this is my Anchor app. That's the platform I use, Anchor, and I'll do a quick refresh so that way we can see that it's all real. Anchor kind of loads slowly, so just bear with me here a second. All right, here we go. 3.7 million downloads. It says 86. Downloads have been a little bit lower this week, and then estimated audience 28. But this is my chart. We can, go all time just so you can see growth, just so it's nothing magical. We'll give that a second to load. All right, and so here's the growth. So I really kicked off this podcast, took it seriously back in August, this is September of 2020, and that's when you see the growth. There were some episodes back here, but it was not, a real podcast. It was just putting stuff on here. Took it seriously. That's been my growth over the past couple years. This is down here because this uploads every week, so it'll upload here. So you can see it's a bit of a downtrend, but those happen. So in my last couple of videos, at the end of them, I asked if anybody was interested in like a consultation on their podcast. And I've caught up with most everybody that's done it, and it's been a really good learning opportunity for me. And so I want to share probably the number one thing that I took from this. And don't take this personal. Hopefully this just gives you motivation. But a lot of the people that I met with, they've only been podcasting less than 6 months, and they're wondering why their podcast wasn't growing. And the answer is simple. The podcast just isn't that good yet, and you're focusing on the wrong things. Again, this is my opinion. Again, I'm not a podcasting expert, but I'm not someone that went viral. I'm someone that has just improved over time. Each time I make an episode, I get a little bit better, a little bit better. And it seems like many people are stressed about, or they don't want to put in the time, or they're not willing or patient enough to think, well, this might take 2, 3, 4 years before it becomes a legitimate income source or legitimate, business that I can do. And that's just not how it works with podcasting. And it's really going to be quality over time. Unless you have a big name, it's going to be really hard to go viral, because in podcasting, there's the high-level professionals. So those are people with big names like a Tony Robbins or something like that has a big name, has a big following. And when they make their podcast, they send all of their people there. So it's like established players moving into podcasting, versus YouTube's not really that way. YouTube's a lot different. And so when you're trying to build a podcast, you can understand that's who you're competing with, people that already have an audience. And so if you're going to start with no audience and try to build it up, you have to understand that you just have to be really, really good. And so I've done a little bit of an experiment to see if I just got lucky or if I'm actually good at what I do. Now, obviously, it's relative. You might listen to my podcast and think it's terrible. And so, I'm not saying that I'm the greatest ever, but I've done this little experiment, and it's been really eye-opening to see, how growth is kind of moving. So I'm going to switch back over to the computer real quick. All right, so we're back on the computer. And so what I actually did, so this podcast, my podcast, has only been a podcast this whole time. So it's never been on YouTube. I've never pushed it on YouTube. I've always just focused on building on platforms that do podcasting, which are these 9 platforms right here. So that's all the podcast has ever been on. But I recently decided to put it on YouTube. So it's very, very small. And I wanted to show this now because I want to be able to update this in real time so you can see the growth. And there's not enough people watching this channel to where it's going to make a big difference. Like if everybody that watched this video went to my YouTube channel and watched the videos there, it's not going to drive in. Plus, I don't want you to do that. I mean, unless you want to check out the podcast, please do. But I'm not trying to drive traffic this way. So don't click on it. And if you want to listen to my podcast, then just go to like Spotify or something so we don't drive the numbers. But I made a YouTube channel, and all I'm doing is I'm taking the audio from my podcast, putting it to a video. So it's just like a B-roll film video. I'm putting text on there, so it does have captions, and then I'm uploading to YouTube. I'm not doing any marketing. I'm not doing any social media marketing. I'm not telling people that listen on my regular podcast that it's over here, so I'm not sending any traffic. I'm legitimately just seeing what happens if I put something that I feel is good, something that I've been working on for over 2 years, on there, if it will grow. And so let me show you the results so far and what is to come. So this is the main page. I have 290 subscribers right now. So let's go to analytics. And to be honest, actually, I'm going to go over to content just to show something. So these are all the episodes I've uploaded recently. So I started uploading this. I don't even remember when I started doing this. This was back in, let's see here. I guess a little bit longer. Time flies when you're having fun with this. September. Okay, here we go. So this is when I started back. So October 7th. So it's December 16th when this is coming out. So, and I started this doing October 7th. Just to be transparent, this channel was another channel. So I had these other, it was like Abundance Talks, like interviews. So those are still on there and those are old. So you can see that's 2021. So I do have views from those. One of them actually did, pretty good. So there were a few subscribers that come from that. So to be honest, that did exist. And then I was uploading podcast episodes before. These are not available. I've privated them all when I switched the channel. So these have not been available since 2020 or since 2021. So, and they don't have a lot of views. So it wasn't like they were doing anything major. Anyway, so these are active. So I started October 7th. And so I want to show you the analytics here on this. It takes a long time to get discovered. So let's go to, let's look at the past 90 days because October is when we really started. You can see where I started uploading here. So you can see this traction, right? Like obviously there's not much there because it was just those videos. And then I start uploading. So you gotta understand, like at this point, these videos in October, let me just show you what kind of downloads I was getting in October, just to compare. Oh, we'll do it daily because that's what that is over there. So this is October. So October daily, there's 13,000, 12,000, on the weekends, it goes down obviously 6,000. But you could probably average that out to probably 9,000, I would imagine. Maybe you could say 8.5, right in there, daily downloads that I was getting. So 8,000 to 9,000 daily downloads. And then I go to YouTube and I'm getting basically none. I mean, you're looking at this line is 10 right here, right? So this is under 10. So something that's getting almost 9,000 downloads on another platform is getting nothing here, right? It's because it hasn't been discovered. Like there just isn't enough time. But then slowly, you hit a little bump, but not really. But then you notice, like I finally start getting traction here and it's going up, starting to pick up, and it's going to continue to go up. And I want to do this as like an experiment to show you that when you get good, it will grow. And good is relative. Like you might make a podcast that just doesn't resonate with me and I might think it's not very good and it might be the best thing ever and you might be huge. But I think there are some things that I've learned that make something good and make something not. And what it is just you are great. Like you are an amazing person. You have a lot to say. Every single person that I've talked to, like their knowledge base on what it is they're talking about is super high. Their excitement, like their just belief in what they want to talk about, super high. Like I didn't do any conversations with people where I'm like, oh, you're not even interested in this or this is a waste of time. It was just, you're not good at it yet. And because you haven't spent enough time and you're competing against people that are really good at it. Again, podcasting is harder to compete with, even though there's less podcasters. So like YouTube, there's way more channels than there are podcast channels. But most of the people that are getting downloads are already established. So people already know them, they already like them, and they're going to them. You just got to be willing to spend time getting good. And if you do it, if you can outlast the others, you will grow because you will get better. If you constantly analyze, if you watch videos like this, not that I'm a genius at this, but just videos in general on how to improve, start reading books on how to improve, and you put enough time, you will make it. Get rid of the expectation that you're going to make it today. Put in the expectation that you are going to do the work today. And when you can focus on the work and you can get pleasure out of doing the things that you need to do, and you get the satisfaction from doing those, you will be fulfilled from your podcast. You won't worry, oh, only 10 people listen to it. Only 5 people listen to it. You will feel good because you know, hey, that one was better than the last one. This one was better than the last one. The next one is going to be better. And as you keep getting better, people will start listening and they will start sharing it. And I think that's the most valuable thing so far. I do have some other learnings. I'll put them in other videos along the way, but just drop a comment below. If you have a question, drop a comment below and I will try to answer it and share whatever advice or perspective I have that can be helpful. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.